Good morning or afternoon to our merry Marvelites. Welcome to Marvel Movie Talk. I am Christian Blatt. What if I were joined by Jeff Williams Jr.
How you doing?
and Count Michael X. Shirley?
Sorcerer Armani.
Yes, the Sorcerer Armani, and of course, Dr. Normal, the one and only Count Eric Connor.
Greeting.
And, we live in a green society, and I believe in recycling everything, including jokes. Eric looks like he's been kicked out of the house, like the cat in the end credits of the Flintstones. Funny first time, less funny the second time, but that's all right.
It's new if you never heard it before.
But why? How is it that it's so quiet? If I were out on my patio, which is literally right out there, it would be so loud right now. And did you have everyone in your neighborhood killed, Eric?
You remember when Doctor Strange just moved everyone off of the Lower East Side?
I do.
You know, in essence, that's what I did here. And it just so happens no one's doing a lawn mowing. It's a very quiet afternoon in Burbank. And I welcome you to my backyard.
Yeah, well, I want to dive right in because Eric has more important places to be, and he'll only be with us to the halfway point of the hour. So I'll, of course, ask everybody else what they think before him. No, but I do want to dive in to What If Episode 4. And in my mind, I'd like to call it, what if they actually made a good one? Because they did. And to me, this was far and away the best of the four. After I may have shared my thoughts on episode 3, I thought that they took a very simple idea and it had really big consequences, which is what we want out of What If. A lot of these other ones, it was just like, oh, well, if things changed, it would be minorly different, but mostly the same. But I thought the visuals were great. This looked really cool. And maybe it's because I'm getting used to the style. But they had all the heavy hitters, all the voices. I mean, they had Benedict Cumberbatch, which honestly, him doing his American accent, it totally sounded like another actor. But I saw in the beginning, they actually put in the credits that they had Michael's favorite Tilda Swinton was there too. And, everybody was there. Rachel McAdams and actor who plays Wong. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But I'll look him up.
Who did Leslie Bibb
Wong?
voice?
It's actually Benedict Wong.
Wong's name is Benedict Wong?
Isn't it?
Are you sure he's not?
I think you're right.
How about this? What if he was played by B.D. Wong?
Ooh.
Oh, that would be a totally different character.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doctor Strange, tell me about your feelings.
Yeah.
So his name is Benedict Wong.
That is Benedict Wong. Well, that's confusing, but you know what? He keeps it easy. So, yes. So they were all there, and I thought it was great. And it was the first one where I'm like, oh, it's over? This is literally the first time I said it after any of them. This one was 35 minutes. I mean, that includes credits and everything. But it had everything. It had interaction between, one of the subjects of the series and Uatu, the Watcher, which I thought was great because he's always talking to, superheroes and members of the Marvel Universe. He's just not getting involved. So that's all of my gushing about the episode. Thanks, everybody, for your time. We'll see you next week. No, Eric, what did you think? Yeah, kind of. But Eric, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was it was that thing I guess I was looking for since episode 1 as well, as someone who read those comics. But I think it went so far and above beyond even the What If sort of franchise. And it got into like Tales from the Dark Side, Twilight Zone, even Edgar Allan Poe level. And that's not a small compliment, obviously. I thought as the story goes on, watching this character sort of de-evolve, and I think Mephisto even showed up at one point. So if you listen carefully, you could hear the sound of Shirley tears and rage. It sounds like the wind. It sounds like the sea, but it is none of those things. But I thought it was such a great episode. And really, by the way, it's funny. It's like we talk about, well, they get the voice actors. And I know Benedict Cumberbatch, his yelling, it always I find a little weird. Like when he falls and I'm not quite sold. But
Yeah,
like,
it's a little bit like when Peter Griffin stubs his toe. You know,
Right.
it's ow, ow, ow.
Ow,
Okay,
ow.
we get it. You're trying to pretend you're American, and but that's my fundamental problem with the character is why is he not British? But anyway, go ahead.
But all that being said, I think what he could do as an actor with that in terms of like how the character changed, and then those moments of just sadness when he realizes he can't fix it, and he's just made the whole universe suffer for his sins. I thought it was really powerful. I agree. Great episode, great performances, and the visuals of it I thought were also really cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Michael, what did you think? This is my favorite, so this must be your least favorite. Is that where we're at with these things now?
When I finished it, it's like I just read a What If comic. It actually seemed like the premise of this show more than any of the other episodes. I think you guys were a little hung up more than I was about how the changes were so small. And this definitely gave you guys what you were wanting. We saw kind of like a Phoenix World Eater kind of situation. I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan, so it wasn't quite as exciting for me on like I'm getting what I want kind of a level. But I did appreciate this. I will say I agree. I think it was the best one, even though last week's was pretty good, kind of. Sorry, Christian. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, and by the way, our friend Nate Miller from AfterBuzz, he and I clearly both watched it at midnight because we had a Twitter exchange at like 12:32 or whatever it was, and his reaction.
You had sworn you would never wait up for this show anymore.
Yeah, but I was up doing work till 11:47, so I'm like, well, and now we do the show earlier, so it was going to be hard to squeeze it in because, right before this show, it was Biden time today, so I did not. Shit. So Nate said, "Holy shit, that What If episode was really good. Like some of the best Marvel stuff post Disney good." And he said that this was like we just said. This was the first one for Nate that felt like reading a What If comic, and if the rest of the series feels like What If comics, then mission accomplished. And I'm glad that they utilized the Watcher. I thought that was great. There was a comment before I asked Jeff to weigh in. Ghost 386. This was creepy, dark, dope, and sad episode of What If. Very sad, actually, especially for the insect creature who wasn't worth absorbing the life force of. This is 2021. I thought we were beyond anti-insect rhetoric.
Well, I thought the gnome's early demise was far more tragic.
Yeah, which by the way,
out there with no
personally,
gnome.
I did not realize. I did not realize that Tom Bosley as David the Gnome was, such an omnipotent sorcerer. But
they're
it really
coming
kind of.
for you.
They're definitely, yeah. Actually, it's you, isn't it? Because the other guys are muted. Oh, it's Jeff.
It's me across the street from a fire station. So that like being in Burbank and quiet stuff is 100% not real life for me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I used to live in Hollywood. I remember the good old days. So, Jeff, your thoughts on What If episode 4? What if instead? It's a clunky title. It's like, what if instead of losing his hands, Doctor Strange lost his heart? Isn't it? Shouldn't it really just be what if Doctor Strange lost his heart?
Yeah, it was okay for me. I'm kind of with Michael on Doctor Strange. It gave me the same vibes as the first half of Doctor Strange the movie. It was slow. It was a little bit of we're gonna even pull from the ending of Doctor Strange where he does the same thing multiple times and kind of goes into that time loop. And I kind of got bored in a sense, but then things started picking up in the second half. So I want to say this is a acquired taste episode for me. I definitely thought the second half was crazy, was cool graphics and everything, but the first half was slow. So it's like I wasn't totally sold on this episode. I still feel like at first I was going to say that it's stuck in line with like not venturing off too far, but the second half was great. So it was just an okay episode for me.
All right. So for this week's show, Jeff Williams Jr. gets the Michael Shirley Award of rating on all of our parade. Like, we all liked it, and he's like, meh, it's all right. But
It's
you know,
the escargot of the What If series, basically.
yeah, it's just not for everybody. I because I don't see her in the chat, I want to share a Twitter comment from Kame Egan that the episode did not answer the important question: did Christine get her creme brulee? She was wondering what if she got red velvet cake instead. I'm going to tell you the real tragedy: she did not get her dessert. In all of those different realities, she dies before they get there.
Was I missing something huge? But who was Leslie Bibb voicing?
Not Rachel McAdams' part. So
I know. She was the last one in the credits. She's the gnome. I'm gonna have to look it up. I guess I'm just being
nasty, I did see her name, by the way. You're right. And
because I love her, and I was like, this is not her voicing over for Rachel McAdams.
Yeah,
so I just don't know who it was.
Right, exactly. And I think that you have this concept of oh boy, Craig. Anytime that I have a thought and it gets spoiled by a pun, it goes right there on the screen. She got her just desserts. I kind of want to. There's a part of me that, by the way, wants to leave that up for the whole show, but I feel like it's far too distracting. I thought that I liked sort of seeing him try, and this is a big time travel sort of trope, is this idea that there are fixed moments, there are things that you can't go back and fix. If you go back and kill little baby Hitler, somebody else becomes Hitler. Just this idea of like, it had a very Final Destination vibe, which I know is not canon in the MCU, but just this idea of like, oh, you can try to get away from it, but it's like, oh, we're going to just drive another way. Yeah. Well, then here comes this truck that's going to just get you much sooner. What do you think about that, Doctor Strange?
But do you think they're going to be like teasing this concept of splitting into two different people into Spider-Verse?
Oh God, I hope not.
Well, and on that same notion, do you think, because there's a rumor that the Doctor Strange that we saw in the trailer is not the exact Doctor Strange that we're used to for multiple reasons? Yeah, I mean, one, he has an eye of Akamoto and he shouldn't.
And he's also it's also Casual Friday, so in the trailer, but so that's a red flag.
The Eye of Akamoto is 100% destroyed. Like, 100% destroyed. Even after
maybe in another multiverse, like, it's not.
I was going to say, even after the snap, he's been seen without the Eye of Akamoto. So it was like that's the part that.
Does he do what the Ancient One did and go get it from an earlier time period, just knowing that he has to return it? And I don't know what the answer is to that, but you're right. He could be a different one. And I do think that, as the weeks have gone on, there's been more analysis of what we see in that trailer and him saying to Peter Parker that be careful what you wish for, is that he actually doesn't cast the spell that he tells Peter he's casting. He sort of shows him this worst case scenario of what could happen if he actually did it. So I think it'll be interesting to see, what it could be. But I feel like this is going to all feel very, I feel like if we rewatch this after Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, I think that we're going to see that this very much is an in-canon story. And even though it's an alternate reality, alternate timeline, I think that a lot of this is going to carry over to that.
After I finished this episode, I went on to the next cartoon, which was like Avengers Secret Files or Secret Wars, and it was from 2017, and it basically was a spoiler for everything we have now. Like, it's got just everything. Like, it's making me think we might see the Leader and Red Hulk soon.
I think that we might get that, but let's see. So she is indeed, Leslie Bibb, and who made this?
Oh, you
point?
found her?
Yep, Ivan Soto was Leslie Bibb, the TV reporter, and yes, so she's reprising her role as the
Wow.
TV reporter from
Okay.
Iron Man and Iron Man 2. But yeah, having the credits front loaded, you know, the
Ooh, la,
actor
la.
credits. Yeah, so. But in any case, I thought that this was a good one, and I would like to see more. And I'm hoping that somewhere in the near future we get the Spider-Man centric episode that we all know is coming. But I know
And the zombie episode, which I'm really looking forward to. That's what I've been like.
Yeah,
I
in
need that.
general, I'm not a big zombie guy.
Please.
They bore me, but
They're boring.
Yeah, because it's like I'm gonna
One
eat your
track
face.
minds.
Yeah, it's like, okay, great. So I don't know, just set them on fire or something, you know.
I want the Return of the Living Dead version of zombies, where they're like ironic and they crack like sub Jackie Mason level jokes. I mean, that's what I want out of my Marvel zombies.
So you want basically take my zombie wife, please. That's
I take my
basically
zombie everywhere he finds his way home. Yeah, that's all. I want.
I want Zombieland zombies where every zombie is played by Bill Murray. Is that really too much to ask for?
That's a lot to ask for.
He did
I mean,
Garfield. I don't think it's too much at all.
and Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties. So let's just be.
The best one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, everybody knows the sequel's always the best one. Smurfs 2, so much better than the first Smurf. Eric, I know you have to go in about 10 minutes. So before you go, are there any other thoughts about this specific episode before I move on to talking about what we might get in the way of more What If in the near future?
No, I mean, I think it was smart not to have this as the first episode, by the way. I feel like we needed to be sort of massaged before you start stretching that muscle.
Yeah.
Read into that, Michael.
Yeah, let's not get weird about it, Eric.
Yeah, please, Eric.
What happens in the
Go on,
backyard
just slam
stays
it on
the
in there
backyard.
like that.
Yeah, and I think like you needed to ramp up to this one, and also then it's like that we have so many more episodes is encouraging of like, okay, how far they'll push some of these stories. It also though speaks to my issue with the multiverse though always goes back to the idea of like having a reset button is like in some ways goes right against drama, like because if you can reset it, who gives a shit? If you could time travel and fix it, and this one I thought did a smart way of kind of addressing that head on, the idea of like what he went through in the reset to get it to work, and then what it cost. But that is an ongoing concern I'll have in terms of this next batch of films. I as excited as I am to see where they go with it, as happy as I was to see Doc Ock back from the dead, I do worry that it's like it then becomes like the stakes might disappear. That's my one concern on the multiple.
Oh, that's finally your problem that there are no stakes anymore. Okay, I've only been saying that.
But what if Doc Ock is a hybrid of Alfred Molina's previous incarnation of Doc Ock and his character from Boogie Nights? Do you feel like that's going to really make the character work more for you?
No, I want it to be his character from Raiders of the Lost Ark, the thief of the statue of the throw me the whip.
Toss me the idol, I'll throw you the whip. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be all he says.
I want him to die that way in every film he's ever in.
So does his ex-wife, by the way. But I think that the idea of stakes, it's like there's you lose something in the drama, and it's very easy to point to what's great about the first, the Richard Donner 1978 Superman, but he does solve his problem by flying backwards around the earth to undo everything and time travel. And it's like, and that was supposed to be the ending to the second movie, but because they were shooting them simultaneously and they were running out of money, they're like, about that being the end of the first movie. Now it's kind of more of a second movie ending, but when that option is on the table that you can undo anything, it's a little disappointing,
I mean, ask Chris Claremont how much that upsets him when they reboot X-Men every time.
He doesn't think that it actually happened. It's like me. It's like me, by the way. It's like It's like there are
You
two
stopped
there
draw a line
there
in
are
the
two
sand.
X-Men number ones. There's one from 1963 and one from 1991, and there's never been an X-Men number one since then. So I
Well, they
have
just
no
had
idea what
another
happened.
one. I think it's the sixth
It
one.
is
or
the
s-
sixth
or-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
Well-
but what do you think about Krakoa? I'm like, you mean from Giant Size X-Men in 1975? I don't think much of it. And then I move on. So
I think the nature of comics is having that reset button, restarting, with new
That's fair.
volumes. And so that's why it's always been so frustrated to me where I don't see the stakes play out as quickly. It's like, let's kill some characters, like 10 years, whatever, we'll start them over again. But it's like, we're always going back, we're fixing the snap. It just never feels like they can fully let something die. And I don't know if it's because this is the first iteration of Marvel Studios. It's their first time having an Iron Man. Maybe things will be a little more crazy when we meet our second Iron Man in probably 3 years, whatever. It's like,
well, it's good. I mean, they've seen the actress who plays Riri Ironheart.
I'm
They've seen
so
her on set.
excited for that.
Yeah, so I think we're going to get our next. I guess she's not Iron Man; she's Ironheart. By the way, my brother in the chat points out that he would be flying around the Earth 5 or 6 times a day, just like, oh my god, I burned my coffee. Wait a minute, I know how to fix this.
I love he keeps joining us.
Yeah, and he was in my previous show as well. He popped into Biden time, so every time I missed the 8 train, I'd rewind the planet. I haven't been to New York so long, I didn't even know there was an 8 train. I honestly had no idea there was an 8 train. Boy, I remember when they only went up to 7. But Eric, before we let you go, what would you like to see? I mean, we know some of what the subject matters are, but did this episode kind of get any wheels spinning for, here's more of the style of story I want to see? Did this make you think of something that you've either read of, like, oh, how about a what if this didn't happen, or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I always like the dominoes falling of, if a character lived or died, if a character, if someone got the bullet instead of the one we know. I think there's that, to me, can always be really interesting. So even if, I know they went back to Endgame, and it's Hawkeye who who plummets to his death instead of Black Widow.
Yes, please.
And then all of a sudden Scarlett Johansson will once again sound like Lake Bell, which I'm okay with, because I thought she, by the way, did great. But I think that
she was not the problem with that episode. That's
no hate on her. But yeah, I think that's where the stuff really becomes interesting, is like when they do remove a character, when they make, like you were saying, Michael, like when they make a bold choice and they actually kill someone, I think go there, and because the consequences in the MCU cinematic part, it's going to be, they'll be fine. But yeah, you might as well have some fun with these and really shake them up a bit, and like do the snap, but don't bring him back. See what goes on.
That would be interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I feel like the only reason they're not really doing that is because like the toy company and the way that like they're so. I mean, but like realistically, the way they're so intertwined, like people sign at the beginning, they sign for like multi-movie contracts, and then you're gonna have like games and all this other kind of stuff and toys with it. So like killing off people every other movie, I don't see it in this day and age, but I definitely see what you're talking about with the comics, and I wouldn't be against it.
You could sell the dead figures, but sell a special Captain America in a coffin. I mean, anytime you add one change, it's a new product. Even if you just change the packaging.
I just said and you said coffin. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, they could take a page from the master merchandiser, a friend of my earbuds for many years, Gene Simmons, and we hope he has a swift recovery from his COVID-19 diagnosis. But they, of course, have the Kiss condoms and the Kiss casket. We'll get you coming and we'll get you going. Oh, fuck, I did it backwards. No, I had it right. We'll get you coming.
You had it right, but then you ruined it.
I know. We'll get you coming and we'll get you going. and Captain America needs to have both condoms and coffins. And
Well-
on that note, we can say goodbye to Eric. Because
Bye,
Eric
Eric.
has to bring this kind of knowledge to the youth of America, to the
Go
future
away, Eric.
filmmakers.
Well, and also, I got to go work on my photoshopping the Captain America Shield brand of condoms, which are going to be
Ooh.
stronger than
Nice.
adamantium and titanium and uranium all at once. So
Well,
that's my week's goal.
If you really want to sell a lot of them, make sure they're vibranium. Anyway, thank you so much to Eric Connor at Count Eric Connor. Other Voices is your film that can be found
Lurking in
where-
the shadows of Amazon.
Yeah, it's lurking in the shadows.
All right,
of-
be good, y'all. And
All
I'll
right.
see you after Shang-Chi.
Yes, exactly. We will stay tuned, and we'll let you know when you can find some special Shang-Chi reaction episodes. But until then, at Count Eric Connor, and thank God he removed
Oh,
himself.
I love all this
didn't.
room. I've got
I know, right? He can really stretch out now. And here's the important thing. Before I pointed out, I didn't even know there was an 8 train in New York. This is very important. My brother points out that it was a typo. He meant the 6 train. And then he said, hang on, I'll be right back. I need to fly somewhere and fix that comment. So that goes exactly to that. And Lewis Cox wants us to know that he really liked this episode of What If. So did we, except Jeff. The rest of us really liked it. So we appreciated all of that. Well, what are you thinking for future episodes? And this is less about what we think they'll actually do this season. Jeff, what are some of the thoughts you have? Characters you'd like to see, stories you'd like to have undone. What if Venom bit off Aunt May's head?
Yeah.
I don't really quite know what that would give us, except the animation would probably be kind of cool when he did it.
I would love to see, honestly, just heroes that we've never even heard of. And I say we as in like the people that haven't been deep in the comics, just superheroes that they either are introducing that are new or superheroes that they haven't even dabbled with in the MCU, because we're talking about a multiverse. We want stuff that's kind of new stories, new adventures. I feel like new superheroes would be the avenue, because we're getting a lot of new superheroes in the MCU. So like it's kind of hard to iterate their stories, if that makes sense. You can't really do a new Riri story on What If until she's already established in the MCU. So I want to see some new characters that we haven't even heard of, or that we're not used to hearing of.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's if they had done this, 5-6 years ago, there's a lot of characters that we wouldn't have seen, so it's interesting to see where it goes. Michael, should I assume that you just want an alternate Psylocke and Dazzler? I mean, because I would say, what if Psylocke and Dazzler had a pillow fight? I would see what that's about. I would check it out. What are your thoughts? Though?
I feel like if they let you write a Marvel comic, that would be what you would write. You would work that into the comic. No matter what.
And age appropriate Kitty Pryde would also be invited, but this is the present day. This would have to be Kate Pryde, because 13-year-old Kitty is not invited to this pillow fight.
Oh. You don't like Kate Pryde, though.
Nobody really likes Kate Pryde as much, but that's fine. Anyway.
I mean, my thoughts were, what if they actually introduce the X-Men into the Marvel universe? I was also going to say, on what Jeff said, if you really want to meet some new characters that no one's heard of or cares about, you're just going to love the Eternals. What if...
Yeah. What if they made a movie and spend all this money on a bunch of characters that nobody knows and nobody cares about?
Yeah.
And you know what?
I mean,
What if would be called Guardians of the Galaxy?
Thank you. I was just about to say that. Because honestly, it's just raising the power level, because all these Eternals are stronger than a lot of the people we've seen so far. So I'm assuming that means the X-Men are going to be ridiculously strong in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's.
I hadn't really thought about it in that way. Maybe they'll just send the Nomad Land, send the Eternals back home, and we'll be done with them. But yeah, I think it's a real problem when you have Captain Marvel level powers. It's just kind of like we all kind of wondered why she didn't just knock Thanos' block off. Same with Scarlet Witch, but
Yeah.
I I feel like any of this is kind of like a pipe dream because it's just become so clear they're so tied to the movies for this What If series. I guess I would probably like to see. Oh, I don't want to say that because we might be getting something like that. I don't really know. I feel like they've just kind of like worn this franchise out a little bit.
Well, that's
I'm
why
really
I think
excited for all
they're-
this
they're
new
spreading
stuff.
their wings, and I mean, I
Yeah.
think in terms of talking about power levels, the ultimate power flex by Marvel Studios is, oh, you think we can't get you to give us money for anything? Welcome to the Eternals. It's like, anything about it, but we're going to show you how cool it is. And by the way, it's very, very dated Marvel reference from my brother. What if the new universe heroes all arrived in the MCU and nobody noticed? Talking about Codename Spitfire, Kickers Inc.,
I don't know these
DP7.
people.
Yeah, they did a new universe in 1986 for Marvel's 25th anniversary, and the whole idea was that the new universe was not part of the Marvel universe. It was, well, what if these characters happened in the real world? And I don't think any of those books lasted 2 years. As far as I can remember, none of them did. They even got John Byrne to do a character called Starbrand, who actually, the Starbrand does exist in the Marvel Universe now, but the rest of it sure doesn't.
Well, we're going back to what I'd like to see.
Sure.
If I don't think they do it, but I think it would be really smart if they got, say, the actress that's playing Riri or Kamala, they introduce them on this show.
That'd be
and
interesting.
They use their voice. That would really get, I think, some people talking.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you might be doing a disservice to the creators who want to introduce them to us, but from a fan service point of view, that would be kind of cool. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jeff?
I mean, to that same point, makes me hesitant that they'll use any type of X-Men, any type of character that we haven't seen in the MCU yet, because they're not going to want to really introduce a big player in a TV show when they've already said these TV shows are not integral to the movies, and the fact that like people can go watch the movies and still be okay. I don't understand that fact because there's superheroes transitioning to different names. There's a lot of things going on in these TV shows, especially with like Loki and the multiverse. So it's like, it's interesting, but I just don't see them inviting X-Men or Riri or anyone that we haven't met yet in MCU into this in season 1 at least.
Yeah, exactly. And, in the chat, Ivan Soto says, what if Ross's daughter became the Hulk instead of Banner? So what if Betty Ross became the Hulk? There is a what if General Ross became the Hulk, but I guess
You know what that looks like?
That's also Red Hulk, right? Or
I'm not sure.
I forget which one that is.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, if you want to see that, you just look her up. Her name's Liv Tyler.
I'm sorry that I stepped on your joke. And my brother always knows which buttons to push. I want anything. I want anything Power Pack. I love Power Pack.
It's
so
not a
much.
real comic book.
I loved that comic more than I loved Spider-Man, more than I loved X-Men when it first came out when I was 9. And Daniel Drew, I know you're late. We're doing the show at an earlier time for a while because of somebody who's not even here right now. But
I know. What was the point of that?
Yeah, believe me. But the truly interesting thing is that we actually don't have that much more to talk about because after so much excitement, it's been a little light. But I did want to get your thoughts on the latest poster for Venom, which, according to this poster that we got yesterday, is still going to is still going to come out on October 15th. And boy, that's not Woody Harrelson's finest photo. I'm just going to say that right there.
About to say that looks a lot like Jeremy Renner.
It is a little bit of a Jeremy Renner vibe. At the moment, the expectation is that this will come out October 15th. If it changes, it changes. I continue to want to see what they're doing with this story. I want to see Carnage on the screen. I want to see Carnage fighting Venom. I want all the things that we know we're going to get from it. Where are you at? We've talked about it a few times, Jeff, in terms of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah. And does that creepy Woody Harrelson face do anything for you?
No, I'm really hoping he's way better in the movies than he is in the trailer or the poster. But my expectations for Sony and the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man universe, the whatever they want to change it to this week, are low. And I just hope it's a fun film that I can watch and be entertained because of Tom Hardy. But yeah, I'm not like too excited for this one. I honestly hope that he is in, and it's kind of going untangent, but I hope Venom is in Spider-Man No Way Home, because I want this to be more relevant, because if he's not, then and I feel like it's just not relevant. They're still the side character, the side cousin to all of MCU, so it kind of hurts him.
Yeah, my brother has a comment for that image of Woody Harrelson, natural born creeper. He's not wrong. And by the way, to our earlier topic, Ghost 8386 points out that Betty Ross became the Red She-Hulk. So everything that you think of has been done. And there are instances where what if stories actually became, told in some version in the MCU proper. Michael, we know you don't like to go to the movies, but just
if I can't go to a movie in Hollywood, I'm not going.
I hear you, except replace Hollywood with Burbank, and then I'm right there with you. But Michael, just your thoughts on Venom, the character, and if he's able to be portrayed in a certain way, on the screen, would it make you happier? Just sort of the idea of getting to see Venom and Carnage. And I don't think we've really ever talked about, your thoughts of them as comic book characters first.
Right. We haven't. I think I'm like that look Michelle Williams, that concerned look she's giving. That's kind of how I feel about all of this.
Yeah, we call that look constipated Jen Lindley is actually what that is. So shout out to the Creek, everybody. What's up?
I'm feeling like a Jen caught in like a Pacey situation. I'm not really sure.
Pacey did what with his teacher?
I know. I don't know. I like Carnage more than I like Venom, because Carnage reminds me a little bit of myself. He just doesn't really give anything about anything.
Yeah.
I never been a huge Venom Carnage person. I'm kind of more in the flashier Spider-Man villains, like Black Cat, Shocker, Kingpin. Like, to me, they're just kind of like, they're his bad double. So I never really got into that so much, but the trailer looks really fun. It makes me consider seeing the first one.
Yeah, well,
I also don't get as excited about the Sony films.
Sure. Yeah, and yeah, because we all know how you feel about Morbius.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, I didn't hate the first Venom. I thought that there was a lot of fun stuff in it, and I do remember when it came out. I was a very vocal minority in how I felt about it, but I was like, I don't know what you wanted, but it gave me enough of what I wanted. And Tom Hardy's great. That goes a long way.
Oh, I love Tom Hardy.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's I would have liked it if he had done the Bane voice at one point, just because it would have made me laugh. But yeah, I mean, look, Jeff, we all know that Tom Hardy is # not my Venom. It's Topher Grace or die. I mean, let's be honest. But and the idea that this would just be a courtroom drama, the People versus Cletus Cassidy. You could actually just take some of the dialogue from the People versus Larry Flint Ivan points out that Venom was fun, and I don't know. I think it'll be fun to see. It's the next Marvel content that we will have, even though it's adjacent after Shang-Chi, which will be in theaters Thursday night, the official, big opening for people who like to go to the movies.
That's
at
when
noon,
Eric
like
will get to see it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. When commoners like Eric Connor will get to see it is Thursday night. But as I was saying before we got started, I saw Shang-Chi so long ago, I've actually forgotten every single thing about it. So it was so long ago, I don't even remember. And Jeff, I know you're going to see it, but you're going to see it tonight, right?
Yeah. So I got to finish my work, and then I'm going straight to the theater. I think it starts at 7. So
yeah.
My phone will be off. Don't talk to me. Don't text me.
No, don't worry. Before 7, I'll text you 8 spoilers. So
okay, sick.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Am I wrong to think that Ben Kingsley is going to be in this film?
I don't know. You'll have to see it, won't
Who?
you?
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley,
the
was
original
Gandhi.
Mandarin.
He was Mandarin in Iron Man 3, and we've talked a lot on this show about the fact that he was at the premiere. So people can draw from that what they would like.
And also, Marvel's trying to promote All Hail the King, which he's in. So just saying.
Yeah, that just dropped on Disney for any of you guys who hadn't noticed.
I did see that it was there.
One shot, which I think is so cute that they did that. And please watch all of the credits. Like all of the credits when you watch it.
Okay. See, that's good to know. Yeah.
Wait, did you not watch the credits of it?
The All Hail the King, I haven't watched it yet. I was going to watch it tonight.
Yet.
Oh, yeah. There's several credit scenes. They're good.
I love that. I can't wait then. And you'll have to keep an eye. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel Blackcast, BLADTCAST on YouTube, because we will have at least 1, possibly 2 special Shang-Chi episodes before our regular Wednesday show. So we will let everybody know. You can try and find out on social media and all of that. But I'm excited for everybody to see it because all jokes aside, I remember everything about it. And there's so many things that I want people to know about and for us to be able to talk about it. And we have not given away spoilers yet, but when we do our Shang-Chi special episodes, we absolutely will. So I'm excited for Jeff to see it just a few short hours from now. But it's a good question from Daniel Drew. Did they make a one-shot section for all the one-shots or
only
just that one? Yeah, that's the only one they have. I think he might be talking about how. Actually. Well, there's some of the DVD bonus, like where they like where Coulson pulls a con on General Ross. There's a couple of those things. There's one with Peg. There's one with Peggy. So I think he means that stuff. And as far as I know, it's not there. But Daniel Drew, what is this nonsense? I had a free pass for an early screening tonight, but it's bad weather, so I can't travel to the theater, which sucks. Good weather tomorrow, so he's good for that. It depends. Daniel, I forget where you live. I know that it's
hard out there in Antarctica.
It's not just cloudy. I mean, there's torrential downpours in places like New York and Washington D.C. and of course all the terrible Hurricane Ida weather that is still churning around. So we hope, obviously we want people to go out to the theater and see Shang-Chi, but when it's safe to actually do so. But very excited. And Daniel points out that in total there are 6 Marvel one-shots. And you know what? If they're not all put together somewhere, I think that they should be. Anyway, that's the big excitement. I think we're going to have a lot of Shang-Chi talk over the next week, and really looking forward to What If Episode 5 at this point because of how much I enjoyed Episode 4. So now there's officially a bar that the episodes can live up to, and the bottom bar, of course, that you need to exceed is, of course, What If Episode 3. So really, in the space of a week, they've touched both ends of the spectrum. Well, if you see Shang-Chi and you want to tweet with Jeff about it, Jeff, where can people do that?
Well, don't do that until about 9
tonight.
p.m. PST.
Yeah, not right now. That's a great point.
Tonight. And then, but yeah, at Jeff Will Jr. I'm going to be talking about some theories. I'm going to give like some questions that I have from the movie. I'll probably wait till like Friday-ish to drop it, so like the day the movie drops, and just give a little spoiler. But at Jeff Willett Jr. so we can continue talking about all Shang-Chi and all Marvel all the time.
And Michael, if people want to ask you to show off your X-Men arcade game, where can they find you?
They're going to have to come to my garage because it's still in a box. But you guys can find me on Instagram at @IHateMichaelShirley and on Twitter at MichaelXShirley.
Yes, we appreciate it. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ. And as I said before, please subscribe to the Bladtcast YouTube page, BLADTCAST. That way you'll always know when we have a new episode coming. We will have one or two. We might have one. I'll just tell you a day that we're very likely to have one is Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're hoping that we're able to do it then, but we'll let you know if it has to be another day and another time, and possibly another one on Tuesday. So please stay tuned. Can't wait for everybody to see Shang-Chi, and we'll have another What If to talk about next week. Next Wednesday at, this is our new time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So until then, as the great Stan Lee would say, Excelsior!